Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and finally we get our rewards for competing in Ranked for the last 3 seasons over the last year. Fortunately, I managed to get gold all 3 times on my main account, so I'm going to get a choice of 3 pieces of equipment, but I'm going to delay that for tomorrow, and yeah, on stream I'm going to be creating the most healthy mouse there has ever been in World of Tanks. But one of the best things is that in addition to getting all of that bond equipment, is the tier 10 reward tank destroyer, the 114 SP2. Now that this vehicle is inside the game, it does make the Object 268 version 5 a little less special because they have similar but not the same gameplay. Now, the only thing that Wargaming have done to this vehicle since I reviewed it last year is in October they nerfed the concealment values of the vehicle. Very significantly, I might add, by like 40%. Accordingly, I feel that my full tank review that I released in September is still relevant, as the only statistic that changed was the concealment, and so you should go and check out that full tank review if you want to know everything there is to know about this vehicle. The short story is this is a flexible Tier 10 tank destroyer with a fully traversable turret and 7 degrees of gun depression, a lot like you would have on the Grilla. The gun doesn't hit exceptionally hard with only 650 alpha damage, and its penetration is lackluster, a lot like on the Grilla, but the tank's DPM is awesome, it's very accurate indeed, and its decent aim time means that you're not aiming for too long even though its dispersion values are pretty awful. Now, one thing that's very interesting about this vehicle is Wargaming have given it horrible terrain resistances that you wouldn't know about if you only looked at it inside the garage, and so accordingly, while it looks like it's quite fast at 45 forwards and 18 backwards, its effective top speed is massively limited by these horrible ground resistances. And so accordingly, you want to either take Grousers or a turbo on this thing, or it's going to be very slow. It's also really a tank that until you get the second field mod for the reinforced suspension, which improves your ground resistances by 15%, is going to be a little bit of a stinker. Nevertheless, considering its release day, I thought I would play it for you live without the benefit of cherry picking my games, and before I've managed to trick it out completely with the field mods. So without further ado, ladies and gents, boys and girls, I am going to christen my ranked reward vehicle live on YouTube for the very first time. Oh, I'm a bit nervous about this. When you're playing vehicles which kind of have a stigma attached to them, there's a lot of pressure, right? People will be looking at it like, oh wow, you know, that guy managed to complete ranked, he must be half good. Maybe you get focused a little bit harder. It's a little bit tricky to say. Alright, so we're getting on the Tundra Map. This is not really a very long range map at all. Now remember, this thing, it doesn't really have any turret armor. Doesn't really have any armor at all. Like 135 on the turret, which at least is going to protect it against high explosive rounds. The hull armor on the vehicle, yeah, 75. At least you can manage to side scrape, but then you're going to struggle with these kind of side plates. Alright, well, I reckon I'm going to be really slow until I get all the field mods on this thing, but I still feel like I have to go play a support role. There's a few positions which I could start in a 114. I could try and go towards the mid-ridge and get some shells in from there. I could go and just camp at the back of the map, and oh my word, even with a turbo, this thing feels really quite slow right now. Oh my lord, I was expecting this thing to be a little bit faster, but it doesn't look like Tanks GG lies. Yes, that is horrible ground resistances. But considering that the engine power is so good on this vehicle, it kind of feels as if not using a turbo would be a little bit of a waste, especially when you want to try and reverse away from your problems. Running away from your problems in a tank destroyer like this is probably one of the only ways that you've got to go. Alright, so turret traverse isn't too bad, a bit like a Grilla, and I do like the 7 degrees of gun depression so far. So we've got an E50M and we've got an SDB1 who are taking the hill, and my team are seemingly wanted just rush up on the hill as quickly as they can. I'm a little bit worried about this. What's my gun caliber as well? I got 152mm. I didn't realize that. That actually means that I'm going to be able to overmatch tanks quite well indeed. Alright, this is a little bit scary, but I'm going to just take a chance against this STB1 here that maybe I can get him in towards the top of the turret, or maybe I should lock him down, and oh dear, already the SP, well, the 114 on the enemy team has already clapped me silly, but talk about clapped somebody silly. I didn't expect to get an ammo rack with my very first shot with this tank. I will take that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That does make me happy. Man, that turret traverse doesn't make me happy though. I don't really want to go around the corner and just tank this player, but like if I don't, how am I even going to win if I don't try and make some trades? It's a tricky one, this vehicle. It's got some hit points to be able to try and clap. It's got a really nice gun. As we can see, that 150... There he is. There he is. There he is. I'm going to switch to an APCR shell for him so I've got the better shell velocity. Didn't help me, though. He managed to get behind the 114 there. Really, I probably should have just shot that E50M in the turret, I think, in that situation. The 114 is going to be coming back around the corner again. I wonder if he realizes that he's still kind of spotted. Okay, the WZ... I'm gonna have a go for this E50 lower plate. Wow, that gun handling actually feels really nice, even without vertical stabilizers. All right, I don't want to get double hit by that VZ55. I have to try and hit this guy again. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that should scare them a little bit. That should scare them a little bit. Talk about scare them a little bit. Artie scares me a little bit. I don't think I'm proxy spotted here. I think I should be able to come around the corner. I just want to have that SP1 kind of focus on a few other tanks. I can't really afford to lose too many more hit points when I've only got 1,000 of them. Oh, gosh, that SP2 at the back, the 114, is doing a real good job at just clapping my friends who expose themselves far too much. I think I'm actually going to have to drop back a corner here because I just feel like I'll probably get overwhelmed in that position. But what I can do, however, still hopefully, is be able to use this position to get a shot in there. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, happy I pulled back there. By pulling back, I kind of gave myself another opportunity to actually get a bit of a crossfire in. Oh, I should have hit that STB-1. My bad. Now the Projetta is going to die, and I'm locked in place. Okay, this is really ugly. Maybe I can kind of fall back here and then wedge my vehicle up and get a little bit of speed and then hopefully not die to the Skoda T56. Okay, good. Alright, so I've got an SU-130. I'm going to say to the SU-130, I'll help him. I need some fire along here. Thanks, bud. If this guy manages to get some shots across, I should be okay. Okay, so remember, my tank has pretty much no turret armor at all, so I've really got to be careful with that. There's also an E50M who could be anywhere. I'd be surprised if the 114 SP2 on the enemy team wasn't really thinking about it. Looks like the enemies have maybe forgotten about me a little bit. If they have, that'll be so good. I need to catch some of these players. Okay, come on, STB1, I need you to make a mistake. I can't really go around that corner. Okay, looks like the 114 is actually on the other flank, and oh dear, this game is starting to be a loss. Alright, well, now it's time to just go for it then. That's all there is to say. Now it's time to just go for it and hope that the enemies are distracted. I think I hesitated a little bit too much. Can you believe that STB1 spotted me? Absolute disaster for me, boys and girls. I got to try and get the Skoda before he manages to clap me here. Maybe the STB1 will come around the corner. There we go, get him. Repair my fuel tank because I don't use a fire extinguisher because I'm a scrub lord. Oh, I'm just going to lose too many hit points to these players. Yeah, I kind of hesitated in this game. I'm not feeling like 100% confident in this vehicle yet. Just got to hope this person kind of messes this up. And maybe he does. Maybe he thinks I'm reloading. Maybe he thinks I'm running away. Okay, I got to take my chance now. I should be able to side scrape him. Maybe I should go up and around, actually. Ooh, somebody's just stunned him. That could actually be really good for me. I wonder if he thinks that I'm flanking him. Gosh, this tank is slow. Gosh, this tank is so slow. Well, I'm not going to be able to carry this with these kind of hit points. Yeah, I'm really not going to be able to carry this with these kind of hit points. Holy moly, their artillery is behind me. They've got a TNH 105 1000. They're probably going to be trying to come down and flank me, but I feel like if the Artie's in the corner, I feel like I got to go for him. I don't feel like I have a choice right now. I don't feel like I have a choice. I feel like I've got to just try and take a risk that I can get to the Artie. Because if I can get rid of the Artie, then maybe I can try and create a defensive position that my opponents won't have thought. Yeah, so if you thought this thing was going to be like a Grilla, yeah, you'll be very disappointed, right? It's definitely not a Grilla. It's very slow. I wonder why Wargaming decided to make this thing so slow. The Artie's still there. The Artie's still there. I don't need an HE shell. My 650 will be more than enough. Where is he? Yep. Got him. They know what I'm up to now. Alright, I'm going to take another risk. And that is driving down here into the open to try and reclaim the hill. Because otherwise I think I lose. Yep. Oh my lord. Oh, if I'd hit that, that would have been so good. Alright. I'm going to tell my friend. Hold on. I come help. All I need is my friend. I'm going to change to gold rounds because I'm on 5 kills. Oh, he got the kill. He got the kill. Oh my gosh. I think I need to get forwards. If he gets one more shot in. Ah, he low rolled. Oh my lord, this is not right. Tough. I think I gotta go up on the hill, maybe try and get a cross shot in here. Boys and girls, this is too tense and my tank is too slow. I would have won this if I'd had the field mods, honestly. If I'd had my speed up, I think I would have won this. Let's see if this thing's camo rating will hold up. This just got interesting, didn't it? I missed his weak point. Should have loaded an HE shell. Who reloads first? That's the question. I bounced. Are you actually kidding me? Oh, I should have aimed slightly lower. Oh, no. Can you believe it? The heartbreak. I bounced off the AMX CDA 105. Oh, I should have aimed slightly lower, but he came up the slope at the last possible second, which angled his upper hull. Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster, boys and girls. Ay, 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 ay. The fact that we bounced off the AMX, the fact that both of the AMXs there. Oh well, 6,000 damage in my first game in the 114 SP2, but I feel like I let this one down. I'm actually going to contact the SU-130 on my team there. I'm going to apologize for letting him down. Mate, so sorry. I choked that game for us. You played great in your tier 8 SU-130 PM. I was the 114 SP2. Got 2 bounces at the end. Cry face. So let's take a look to see how those 2 shells ricocheted on my opponents. Well, actually looks like I missed. So I hit the angled side. I thought I was hitting his hull. Oh, no. I think I could have probably managed to get the top gun and the 7th kill there if that one hadn't done that. Maybe I should have fired HE against the AMX M451. Ah, well, it was still a good game. Well, so far so good, but I don't think my nerves can really take much more of that. I'm not gonna lie. I really hope that this one's gonna be a little less stressful, but hopefully it was good content for YouTube. Really hope you're enjoying this video so far, even if, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't quite manage to take that one down. Yeah, I thought I should have aimed a little bit lower. But in that kind of a situation, he had his gun on me, and I don't have armor. So I felt like it's he who fires first wins. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. GG. Alrighty then. Now we're going to be playing the new Assault game mode of Redshire. And wow, look at that. There's a platoon of 114 SP2s on the enemy team. Goodness gracious, that's going to be hard to be able to dig out with all of the artillery as well. Trying to think about just how I can manage to attack on this map safely. Now you can just go and chill kind of in the bushes back there. It's a little bit risky. Or alternatively you can make your way over there, but then they can have a crossfire in that location. Okay, it looks to me like my team all want to go and hold this area. So I'm going to go and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to try and create a crossfire for my team in this location. I do like how quickly this gun gets on target. Remember, I'm not using a rotation device, and I don't have all of the field mods yet. Oh, I'm using bounty equipment, but it's not like I'm using bond equipment and a consumable as well. Not a consumable, but a directive as well. This thing does really well with its accuracy. It's such a consistent damage dealer. Ouch. Okay, well, ouch, yes, for the enemy team. Ouch for me if that Krenvong manages to get me. Maybe I'm being a little bit cheeky here. What's my shell velocity? Oh, into the ridge line. My shell velocity is 1,000 and 1,250 on my gold rounds. That's pretty cool. Oh, I'm dead. That's it. That's all there is to say. I'm dead. I'm completely gone in this position, boys and girls. I screwed this one up. I got to run away from this STB1 and hope that I can manage to get into these bushes and not die, but I'm probably going to get shot in the side, I'd say. I think this is my only hope, is to get into these bushes. Luckily, because I'm a tank destroyer, I've got fairly good camo rating, right? I can't hang around there against 2 hull-down tanks. That's not going to work out for me at all. Whoa, come on, come on, get the gun on. Get the gun on. Ooh, I didn't even need to get the gun on there. That guy's just down. Okay, so I really can't fight there on that ridgeline against an STB1 and a Granvong. So I'm going to drop back, and I'm going to try and just provide some support fire from the middle, I guess. If you can't beat them, join them. And it looks like my team are actually managing to get in a good amount of artillery shells. Now I have to be careful here that I'm not going to get spotted out. And this is one of the downsides to Wargaming nerfing this thing's camo rating so much, is that it's definitely not the sneaky tank that I was thinking it could be. But I got a funny feeling it might end up getting a field mod that increases its camo rating on the move by 5%, and if that is the case, the camo rating is still going to be very good on this vehicle, as far as I can tell with one of the final field mods. It's the same field mod that you can get on the Object 268 version 5, and it really does revolutionize how you can play the tank. Undoubtedly, right now, you are seeing this tank in like a pseudo form. As I said in that last game, without the second field mod on this vehicle, which improves its ground resistances by 15%, this vehicle is going to be slow right up until I have that. Ah, feels so irritating that I genuinely think that I would have won that last game if I'd had the field mods. But, you know, that's World of Tanks these days, right? You can't have, well, you can have every single advantage, but it's very expensive to do so, both with regards to your time or with regards to the amount of money that you spend. Undoubtedly, with all of the field mods and everything, this game is becoming harder and harder and harder to, should we say, keep up, or it's becoming harder and harder and harder to remain competitive without just spending a good chunk of change on the game constantly. Alright, so the 114's clearly managed to hit my WZ-132 in the side there. I really don't want to suffer the same fate. I'm trying to think about what angle I can get in this vehicle. Maybe I can go slightly higher up here so I can have a bit of a crossfire over towards that location. The 114s are all spotted now. There's one in the corner, there's one here, and there's probably one down towards the south as well. I'm going to try and hunt this middle. I just realized this vehicle is actually going to do really badly at trying to club through heavy tanks like a mouse. Other tank destroyers, you can just pretty much aim mostly over the front of the hull. You don't even really have to hit the lower plate consistently. This is going to be one of those TDs that's probably very good against medium tanks, light tanks, and very good against the lighter vehicles, but isn't just going to have that full, raw tank destroyer force to be able to clap your opponents who truly have resounding protection. Alrighty then, so I think I've now got an angle that should hopefully be able to help out, but this map's quite tricky because there's lots of cover that my opponents are going to be able to have for my crossfire. Looks like I actually had a shot on the VZ there. Where was he even? So is he behind the building? I guess. There he is. There he is. Come on. Come on. Come on, buddy. Maybe I'm still a little bit nervous from that last game, honestly. After doing 6,000 damage, I feel like maybe I've been a little bit timid in this game. Do I need to go into the dip and try and help my friends out? I'm pretty fast down a slope. As long as this T110E3 doesn't see me, I should be fairly quick. Yeah, this thing's actually really fast downhill. There are quite a few tanks that are like that are very good downhill, but just not so good when they actually need to use their maneuverability elsewhere. Alright, cool. So Batchat making their way in towards the mouse, managing to get a couple of good rounds in, hopefully managing to get that mag going. I'm going to load a gold round here for this T110E3. Come on, T110E3. Come. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to block you. I'm sorry. I really didn't see that. I'm sorry. I thought you had a shot. I'm sorry, dude. I should probably go for an HE shell here. Oh, I'm flustered. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't want to block that TBP into the T110E3. That was my bad. Obviously a little bit ignorant there. And then I should have loaded an HE shell to be able to finish off the T110E3 instead of doing what I did there, which was just to fire a gold round at his upper hull like a big scrub lord. What? For reals? That must have hit a Kranvang. That's the only explanation. Yeah, I hit the Kranvang instead. I've even tracked him. I love this gun. Yeah, I love this gun. When you actually manage to get it on target and get going, that is a beautiful, weapon. A beautiful weapon. Accurate. Convenient with the turret. Good DPM. What more do you really want for this vehicle? Damn. So it seems to be like a good support tank destroyer. It's very slow for me right now. I've said that a few times, but I really can't hammer home how different this tank feels without all of the field mods that I undoubtedly was using when I was testing it a year ago. Okay, so I managed to get my win. It wasn't the epic 6,000 damage super close rounds that we had first, but you know what? We did 2,000 damage, including those shots against the Kranvang, misplays that I made, bumping into the TVP, that wasn't very cool of me, and also just not reloading high explosive rounds for the T110E3 there, instead of just trying to fire gold through his upper hull, was a big misplay. Alright, that game was pretty quick. Let's see if we can play one more now for the 114 SP2. See if we can maybe give you all an idea of what more this vehicle is about. So just while we're loading into that battle, I thought I'd give you a look at the armor of this tank. So as you can see, yeah, it practically doesn't have any. Don't get baited into shooting its angled side armor here unless you have a 156mm, sorry, no, 166 millimeter caliber gun, otherwise you're not overmatching that, and you aren't going through the side as well. So I'm pretty sure what's going to happen with this tank is people are going to side scrape like this and bait people into to bouncing off its side, but don't fall for it. Just shoot it in the turret, but don't think that you can shoot HE, because that's not going to work either. I mean, if you're a tier 8 tank, you're still going to be able to go through it fully. So it's pretty much like a glass cannon tank when we look at it statistically like that. Alrighty then. So here we go. Now we're going to be playing on the Overlord map. This is a map which I feel like I need slightly more gun depression, but at least I've got 7 degrees and I should be able to work it. It's quite tricky to decide about where to go exactly on a map like this. A lot of tank destroyers will like to just sit at the back and chill. I instead think that what I'm going to do is try and play like a support role towards the center. That's what I'm going to go for. Kind of worried that the VZ55 could snowball against my IS-7 if I'm not at the back and able to put some damage in. I reckon the enemy SP114 SP2 is probably going to sit back there or probably make their way over towards the east of this map. Alright, so their WZ132A has been lit up by our CS52 Lease. Looks like he's maybe wanting to try and make a push play down the east. You know what? I'm totally down for that. I'll do very well against light tanks. Very well indeed against light tanks. So I'm going to make my way over here. I'm going to tell my 430U that I'll support him. And see if I can find a shell into their light tank. It could be sitting up in these bushes. Does my 6th sense go off? No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, can I hit this guy from above? Does he see me? He doesn't look like he sees me. I'm going to try and go for an HE shell on this guy. Oh, that was a misplay by me. I just let him escape for no reason. I honestly thought he was just going to sit in the dip, but he didn't. Okay, I got to be careful that they don't have all of their TDs at the back, because I will not do very well if I get hit by all of their TDs at the back. And remember, while this thing's got a good chunk of hit points are its lifeblood. Because it doesn't have any armor to be able to keep those hit points going. So when the hit points are gone, you are gone. Yeah, that is a 600 damage shell. That could very easily be a low roll from a 114 SP2 at the back. Okay, there's a Borask in the middle. Oh, wow. That surprises me. I really thought that I aimed enough there. Luckily, I lock him in place for my Conway, but unfortunately for my Conway, he loses all of his hit points because I was unable to get that shot cleanly in. Okay, so I've got a funny feeling that there could still be a leopard hanging around. I'm just hoping that there's the leopard. I just got to hope this WZ kind of messes up a little bit and goes a little bit high up into the bush, but he might not. That leopard's actually advanced down and around. I wonder if I should try and get forwards and try and get some crossfire. Maybe try and get some shots on that leopard. Maybe even try and spot some of the TDs towards the back of the map. Remember, this thing has way better camo than a heavy, but it's still not very good camo. And if I got caught out here, I'm not going to be a happy camper. Alright, I'm actually going to go for an HE pen here to one-shot him. Nice. Come on, Turbo, get me back, get me back, get me back. Yes, baby. Now I know where the 114 is as well. I'm going to tell my team where the 114 SP2 is, and I'm going to use a repair kit to get my gun in. So yeah, the HE shells on this tank, 90mm of pen, that's not very good. Wargaming clearly don't want this thing to be an outrageous vehicle with regards to its HE DPM. So they have given it quite poor HE rounds compared to a variety of other vehicles. undoubtedly disappointing. When I play a tank destroyer, I always love having those big HE rounds on these vehicles. You know, T110E3 packing 1100 alpha, even the 113G, the other Chinese tank destroyer, is packing 1100 alpha. And we saw on my YouTube channel yesterday, the Jagdpanzer 100 has 1400 alpha damage on its HE shells, which are very meaty indeed. So that Leopard got caught. The artillery has fired. Clearly, if I go here and I get spotted, I'll get clapped by the 114. No, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it right now. It really isn't worth it. I don't want to lose those hit points. If I see the 114 fire, or I see the 114 doing something else, then maybe I'll go for him. Okay, that 114 is clearly going to be looking for him, so I'm actually going to commit to this. I'm going to commit to this Leopard now. I might get hit, but I feel like I've got to commit. I wonder what my weight is on this tank. I can imagine it's a pretty hefty boy. Yeah. I'm not light. Not light, Mr. Leopard. Can ram him to finish him off. I didn't low roll or anything. Alright, so Scorpion here. I'm going to load an HE shell for him. I got spotted. Don't need the HE shell anymore. No point in firing HE if you can pen an AP. Unless they're really low on health, and then the situation changes again. So an artillery shell just came from the back. Maybe my 430U will be able to spot them. Can I say that this tank seems to get kills, you know? Oh, what's that? Is that a VZ in that position? Is he AFK? Well, I don't mind if he's AFK, man. I'm just here for the damage. Oh, wow. Talk about here for the damage. I get kills in this tank. It's got like a real nice mid-range alpha. And such a good reload as well. Okay, now I'm going to fight a duel. And in theory, unless this guy high rolls, he can't kill me in 2 shots. But if I low roll, he can. Oh, okay. Well, I guess what I have to do now is just hope that the artillery doesn't get me. I'm pretty sure I'll have a better rate of fire than him. If I low roll this, I need to ram him. Okay, guess I don't. 5 kills, man. Let's go. And the other artillery should be hiding behind this building or something for me. Can we get a top gun? Can we get a top gun? Can we get a top gun? Yes, we can! Alright, 4,500 damage and 6 kills for the 114 SP2. Alright, well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, hopefully that gives you an idea of what this vehicle is all about. I can tell you, this is going to be my kind of tank. I like these flexible vehicles. I do very well in a tank like a Grilla. The only unfortunate thing about this one is it doesn't really have that kind of accuracy and that alpha damage and that shell velocity feel that you will be used to on a Grilla. Nevertheless, 3 games in this tank. The second one was obviously a little bit of a stinker, but averaging 4,000 damage, and more importantly, averaging over 4 kills per game so far, which I'm definitely not going to be able to keep up. So all in all, the 114 SP2, if you played ranked, sure, this is a nice kind of reward. If you don't have an Object 268 version 5, then this vehicle is definitely going to provide a very novel kind of gameplay. For me personally, I think the Object 268 version 5 will be the more fun tank with the higher alpha damage, especially on its HE rounds, but undoubtedly way worse accuracy, worse gun handling, and massively worse damage per minute. So the 114 SP2 kind of becomes this pseudo Grilla tank that will scale very well with field mods, very well with any kind of mobility that you can put into the tank, where then you can start to flank your enemy heavy tanks, lock down those mediums, and hopefully make better trades with the really quite decent damage per minute that the vehicle has. And accordingly, at least for the foreseeable future, until all of the ranked players get bored, be warned when you encounter these things on the battlefield, as they're likely going to be played by quite experienced players, setting up support fire from the second line, and so it's going to be a dangerous time, at least for the next few days, to get spotted in the open. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. I really hoped you liked this live gameplay christening of the 114 SP2 on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you hated it, however, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments what you think about this Chinese tank destroyer. Do you think that it looks crazy overpowered? Or do you think the fact that every tier 8 can pen it means that it's quite lackluster. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.